been followed. So they simply write there is no conflict of interest. Accountability is very important. So authors, editors, and reviewers all are responsible for ethical standards to be followed by any journal. Fairness, so objective peer review and editorial decisions without any bias is very important. So generally, the good publishers have a review board, and the reviewers don't know that who has written the article or the research paper, and they submit their comment. And based on their comments, the article editor takes a decision. So the good journals who are indexed in Web of Science or Scopus or ISI, so they maintain this objectivity or fairness. Confidentiality is very important aspect of academic publications. So it's very important to protect information during submission of the participants in some of these studies. So particularly in psychological studies, when we take the consent from the participants, it's mentioned in the form that your information will not be published anywhere. So your personal information, who you are, and kind of. So what are the common ethical issues in publication? So plagiarism, of course, is presenting others' work without attribution. And what this AI is doing is you just copy paste someone else's work in AI and write a prompt that rewrite. And this is the most unethical way of getting published. And we have got tools while reviewing articles, which clearly indicates that this content is AI generated. And when it is AI generated beyond some extent, like suppose more than 10%, we simply reject the paper. So data fabrication and falsification is again a big challenge. So what kind of manipulation is possible in data is like you collected data 4 years back and you're saying that I collected today. You collected data from Kolkata and you are saying that I collected data from some other location. So these fabrications and falsifications, you collected data from 100 people and you are claiming that we collected data from 1,000 people. So these all are data fabrication and falsifications. And that's why when your research is data-based, so many journals have started asking for the Excel sheet or the sheets downloaded from the Google form to cross-check like the date stamp of that particular data, that when was the form submitted by the participants. Then another problem is duplicate submissions. What does it mean? Like you are submitting the same manuscript to multiple journals to get it published faster. And if you are using Manuscript Central to do this, it is obvious that we come to know that you have submitted the same article to multiple journals. So if you are using Manuscript Central or the Taylor and Francis or the Sage, then the editors of the journals come to know that the article with the same title has been published, has been submitted somewhere else also. So don't do this. Then authorship disputes are misrepresentation of contributors. So suppose someone has not contributed to your paper, and just to please him or take favor from him or her, you are, adding his or her name in that publication, or you are getting written the paper in your name by someone else. So there are many ways of misrepresentation of contributors, and this leads to authorship disputes. And if it comes to the knowledge of COPE, then the journal gets the notice to simply remove that paper from the journal. So retraction, it's called retraction. So the particular research article gets retracted from that particular journal. So financial or personal biases influencing work must be mentioned as part of conflict of interest. So what are the guidelines for editors and authors in COPE. So for editors, they have to make sure that the peer review process is fair and they respond to misconduct and they publish corrections and retractions. So suppose an article has been retracted, some plagiarism or a malpractice was found. Uh, so they have to publish the retractions. They will have to announce on their site that this particular article has been retracted and they won't cite any reason for it. They simply write that this article has been retracted. And then the academic fraternity comes to know that this particular author's, these many papers have been retracted, and that's why he's not following the ethical practices. So recently, I came across an article which was saying that one of the very big scientists of India, C.N.R. Rao. So many of his articles were retracted because the proper referencing and citations were not followed. For authors, the guidelines are like you should follow the principle of originality, accurate reporting, and the acknowledgement of sources. What's the retraction policy? So when and how to retract a paper. So that retraction policy is written in COPE guidelines. So you should refer to COPE's website and go through the guidelines very carefully. Then handling manuscript step-by-step procedures via COPE flow charts. So when an article is submitted to a journal, the journal must send an email to the author that we have received your article and we'll get back to you soon. And then the intimation should go about that whether the article is being considered for review or not. So there is a timeline which the good journals mention on their website that we take 7 days for the first decision, we take 6 months time for the second decision, and then these many days for acceptance and publication and proofreading and all these things. So this must be very transparent. So what is the importance and impact of COPE ethics? So it enhances credibility and trust in scholarly publishing. So whichsoever journal follows COPE guidelines, maintains transparency, protects the rights and reputations of all parties, whether they be publishers or authors or reviewers or article editors, then supports responsible research conduct and contributes to the global standardization of ethical publishing practices. So what happened very recently, like two of the reviewers had rejected a paper which came for a review to those reviewers, and the article got published anyhow. So those reviewers wrote to COPE, and then that article had to get retracted. As well, and there are rights with all stakeholders. So if someone writes to COPE that I had submitted an article for publication, it got reviewed and rejected. And I saw the article got published in someone else's name, and that's why I doubt that the journal was involved or the reviewer was involved in that this malpractice. Then an inquiry happens, and either the journal gets punished for it or the reviewers get punished for it. So everyone's right is protected through COPE ethics. Now, it's time for Q&A session because I believe that it's a complex subject and we must have enough time to discuss it.
Participant, please interact with our resource person. If anybody have any question, please ask.
Raise your hands and I will come back to you for your questions.
किसी के कोई सवाल हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं, कोई क्वेरी हो तो पूछ सकते हैं, अगर आप में से कोई कुछ बताना जोड़ना भी चाहे तो भी आप आमंत्रित प्लीज. आप चैट बॉक्स में भी अपने सवाल पोस्ट कर सकते हैं. सर अगर जैसे आज के अभी फिलहाल हम लोग ऑनलाइन डेटा बहुत सारा यूज करते हैं, तो उसको साइट करने का प्रोसेस क्या है? मान लीजिए हमने किसी यूट्यूब से कोई कंटेंट देखा, यूज किया, और हम उसको साइट करना चाह रहे हैं, तो उसका क्या मैकेनिज्म?
So it's not just about citing any source, you know. So first you will have to make sure that whatsoever is being said by someone on YouTube is authentic or not, or that particular person who is, telling something about that issue, is that person an expert on that subject? So it cannot happen like I'm not an expert of physics and I made a video on YouTube and posted it and you will cite. This is not going to happen. So who is doing what is very important. So I get questions like my paper got rejected. So what could be the reason? So in most of the cases, I find is that if you have referred to good people, the good scholars or the good academicians in your research writing. So suppose someone is doing research on AI-driven algorithms in advertising at Stanford and is master of